Ping Pong Aksel Take 2. I have this bag now for a little bit over 6 weeks. Roughly 6 weeks. I've had it on light usage occasions where I was biking and I didn't want it to be so heavy. And I had it also with me when I was traveling to a different country, back home to Egypt. And I've used pretty much most of the things inside on a daily basis from time to time over the course of the day. And I wanted to give you a little bit of a follow-up since I gave that impression when I bought the bag the first time, and I thought it was a little bit unfair to just leave it at that. I'll not give a proper overview of my thoughts on this bag. Let me just first give you a little bit of an executive summary and tell you I love this bag. It's really a great bag in terms of use cases, in terms of size, in terms of comfort, in terms of feel of how everything is fit inside and tucked, and giving me also the feeling that it's not a lot somehow for some other reason. Let me cut to the chase and give you then a little bit more detail. First, I start with showing you what I have inside the bag, and this just to give you also an impression of how convenient it is to carry this amount of things on a daily basis. So without further ado, let's jump right in. Ping Pong Aksel. What I have inside, I also have this fancy little sticker out on top, on the front now to cover the logo, which I didn't hate, but I thought it's a little bit personal. What do I have inside the bag? One of the first remarks that I have as to start with is that it's still a big mess. It feels a lot of the times like a bag that my mom had, where I would ask her for a nail clipper and she would dig inside her bag and get me one. I would ask for a cream because I have a cold. She would dig inside and she will find a cream for the cold. I would ask her for a brush because I randomly feel like I wanted to brush my hair. She would dig inside and grab this. So this is a bag where you can have really a lot of things, and it would feel over time that it's normal to have these things with you. So I might even have some things inside that I don't need often, but still I bring them with me just for the convenience of maybe I use it when I actually need it. It's nice. What do I have with me now? I have inside of this bag this little pouch. I mentioned in the first video of the making of that this pouch is useless for me. Turns out this actually is a very useful pouch. I use it for my wallet and important cards, and if I have cash I also put it inside. It's really my wallet at this point. I have my cards, actually this is my official wallet. I have all my cards inside here. This is what I use, and then I have some cash as well on top of business cards and other documents that not necessarily needed on a daily basis, but of course I need to have with me. So this is a really good bag, and I keep this bag inside constantly, and when I need something, cash or I need a card, I open the bag, of course. I open this bag and so it's inside, so it's convenient that everything is inside, stored in a very tucked place like that, which is really practical. I also have inside this bag my Kindle, which I don't unfortunately use as often as I would like, but it is there. I also have inside my keys, which are quite bulky. I also have a very big power bank. It's an Anker, which is a really nice heavy Anker 165 laptop charger. It also has a built-in cable, so it's pretty practical, but there's a lot of reviews online, so I didn't think it would be quite sensible to review this as well. But I have this now for a little over a week, not even a week, and it feels very comfortable to have this with me constantly because it charges my phone as much as I need to, and also it's a backup for my laptop in case I need. So I have this with me. It weighs a little bit over half a kilo. I think that's 1 pound, if I'm not mistaken, just a little bit over 1 pound. It doesn't feel like I have a lot inside because of this. It did add a little bit of significant weight, but it still doesn't feel like an absurd amount. I have a little perfume bottle inside. I have a few pens inside here. I have also here, I take it out, a little bit of wet tissues. I have here my earplugs, and I also have some chewing gum, dog pooping bags. I have here a nice little memory. I have here butter palm, a tampon for emergencies. I have also a playing card deck. I have also my AirPods. I have inside here also my passport and my driver's license and a bunch of little flags that sometimes come in handy, and just a random sticker that I have not found a use for yet, and also a little keychain that's broken off that I still like to have with me. And in the front here I have my sunglasses, which are quite easily accessible if I just open the top here. And behind this, sometimes I admit I need, is an IKEA meter. It's a paper meter where I can measure distances, and also a couple of other pens for easier access just from outside. So this is basically what I have inside on a daily basis. One thing I wanted to also mention is how I typically use the bag. I think it's quite a relevant point to mention on this regard. So usually I have the bag, like I mentioned in the past. I haven't been biking over the past 3 weeks or 4 weeks. I was abroad where I don't have access to a bike, so I haven't been using really that tripod connector, as I mentioned, quite as often. But the bag itself has, this top part has different ways how it can be used. One way is to use it, of course, like it's being always advised, is to connect these two things. And here you have it. It's a quite little small fanny pack. Another way that my wife has showed me, by chance, she didn't even know that this was how to use it. You can connect, these two are made actually in different ways. I don't know if you see it in the zoom, but they're different. So when they're connected, which means you can also do this, which I find quite actually a nice addition because it doubles as a nice handle. So when I'm carrying this bag, I'm actually sometimes doing this, which I have to say is quite nice sometimes. When I have the bag around, I take it with me and I take it somewhere else. I think this is quite a nice touch, that they're not like both identical and they cannot fit together. That they fit together, I think is quite nice. But how, I have to admit, I constantly use this bag over the last period, just like this. Sometimes I have, or often, I had the bag like this, and it's just like this on me. As simple as that. When I need something, I would take it out. And it's also quite nice. It's not big at all, feeling wise, so it's not really taking up space. And at the same time, it's quite practical. One comment I have about it, as I said, it's doubled as a positive and a negative, is that it's a deep mess. I barely ever use the one in the back in that period. Often when I only need my important papers that were in the back, this is when I use this one back pocket, because I didn't want to dive from the top. But sometimes when I'm already in the top and I need something from the back, this is how I get it. So as I said, the back pocket is really something I use now rarely, in the case I need the items that sometimes I need. It's mostly the top hole that I use that's actually quite big. And since I don't roll it often so much, which is quite a time-consuming thing to do, I have to say, to roll it up and to wrap it, to roll it up and then to put it inside, it's quite a hassle. So I avoid doing this all the time and I just keep it like this. Are there comments or are there better things I would do about this bag? I would have put a little mesh or a net in between to separate two spaces. Perhaps this would give a little bit of organizational compartmentalization to the content inside. Instead of just me bubbling everything inside in one go and just like hoping I find something when I'm digging for it, which has took me some time for some things when I'm looking for it. This little bottle has caused me some trouble when I'm looking for it. I have to dig around. Not the best experience. It works, but it could have been done hopefully better if I had maybe some compartments inside. Just an example. My gadgets I would have loved to put in a separate compartment in the back where I know these are the areas, this is the area where I have them. This is just my, I mentioned a little comment in the previous video where I said it would be nice if this compartment was on the other side, the little compartment. I changed my mind about this. I think actually it's perfect the way it is. With this little zipper accessing this little compartment, I think that's a good idea, because then my point is not to access from this area, from this zipper, the entire content inside the bag, which I would typically now use from the top. But this little back pocket I use only for the side pockets, which is actually quite nice that I have there where I can access these things. These are just my thoughts that I wanted to share with you after using the pinqponq Aksel for 6 weeks. Let me know if you have any questions and I'm happy to answer them. Peace out.